Yo, what is going on, everybody? Mashman here. First and foremost, I want to thank you in advance for clicking on or watching this video. But the purpose of this is to give you an update of what has been going on over the past month. Now, this isn't going to be extremely detailed, but I do want to fill you in about a couple extremely exciting things. Now, number one, I don't know if you can notice, there is a little bit of an echo right now. My apologies for that. I'm in a brand new office space, recently moved cities, and I'm working on getting some sound paneling up and some furniture in the office. But aside from that, the month of October was an unbelievably challenging month in a variety of ways that ultimately led me to a great stage of growth. Now, I'm not going to address everything that went on because certain matters are still kind of in the works and I'm not sure about the outcome. However, I will say that whenever you are at this breaking point, whenever you're at the lowest point in your business or your career or your life, that is the moment that you have to say, you know what, I'm not going to give in. And now this past month wasn't my lowest point, by no means, but it was one of the defeats that I faced in business. It was a defeat that I faced in life that I ultimately kind of was like, you know what, this is a battle versus war kind of thing. I might have lost the battle, but I didn't lose the war. And so with that little transition in mentality, I ended up powering through and went on to have a record-breaking month in November, a month that was really exceptional, and we still have 8 days left in this month. And so I'm working to do as much as I can to continue that momentum going into quarter one of 2022. I'm talking business deals that are already in the work. Now, number one, I don't know if you've been following super closely, but this right here, here's some copies. This is my very first book, Personal Branding, a Manifesto on Fame and Influence. It's 55 pages long. It's not a long read. And I did that on purpose. Some of the most impactful works in my life were the shortest. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And then we also have U Squared by Dr. Price Pritchett. And so taking those things into account, I didn't want to write something about personal branding that would be dreadful. I didn't want to write something that would, be, I guess you could say, applicable today and not applicable tomorrow, right? Obsolete, because social media is changing, but personal branding as a whole has not changed a whole lot since the beginning of time. Personal brand has existed. Your personal brand has existed since the day that you were born. And so in this manifesto, I talk about the what and the why. I talk about what is your personal brand and why is it important? And then I begin to go into the how of building out your personal brand, but I don't go into specific strategies like start a podcast, and I don't go super specific and say you need to do X, Y, and Z things in terms of media. I do hint at some things, but I wanted it to be applicable 50 years from now. Look back half a century and say, wow, the concepts that I mentioned were the same. They're still applicable today. Now, the overall forms of media, they're going to evolve. We don't even know what media will be around 50, 60, 70 years from now, yet it's the equivalence of other books that were written, such as Think and Grow Rich. Times have changed so much from the time that he wrote the book, but you go into Barnes & Noble, you go into Target, you go into any bookstore, you're still able to pick up a copy of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And this is what I wanted to do in terms of personal branding. And so I'm super grateful to announce that the paperback version is available. It is now available on Barnes & Noble as well. I was working on that this morning. And it is available on Kindle. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, you're actually able to read this for absolutely free. And it actually helps me out with royalties as well. Now, the other exciting thing is the paperback release pushed to #1 new release in the category of public relations. Do you know how significant that is? And I'm not talking in significance of like, oh, look at this great accomplishment. I'm saying personally, because whenever you take the time to write something, you're pouring out dozens and dozens of hours on something. And this book particularly, I've wanted to write a book since 2017, 2018. And I, even as a kid in elementary school, used to write down novel fiction. I got 20 pages into a book when I was in elementary school and then later decided that, hey, I really don't want to do this. But the fact is, since graduating high school, I've wanted to write a nonfiction book, and I went through half a dozen ideas until I eventually decided on personal branding. And after I got it going, then it was smooth sailing, and for the most part, it was great and had some awesome reviews. And I'm like, you know what? Time to publish it. So November 1st, I published Personal Branding, a Manifesto on Fame and Influence, did a ton of marketing and had a lot of amazing support from people like you, if you're watching this, who grabbed their own copy from Amazon. Siri likes to talk. But regardless, it hit #1 new release in the category of public relations. I want to be specific and say that in the category, not overall on Amazon, we're working to that point for the next book, but it hit the #1 new release in public relations, as well as the top 10 bestseller list for the category of PR as well. It hit #9, and it actually reached the top 50,000 books on Amazon overall. So for me, for my first book, for something that's 55 pages long, for something that, I haven't even put my personal brand to momentum yet, I'm happy with, I'm content with. It wasn't #1. I didn't do the marketing push to get it to #1. And that's okay, because the main reason I wrote this is to really enforce the idea of personal branding. I didn't write it with the intention of becoming a #1 bestseller on the New York Times, right? That's not what I was trying to do. But what I was doing is creating a value add for every single client that I work with through my public relations firm, Mashman Ventures. Every client that works with us is automatically getting a copy of this book, and a signed copy that I'll be sending out. And then on top of that, I've had over a dozen people want to get signed copies of the book, and so I'll be shipping those out in the following weeks as I get a massive shipment coming in. I have 50 copies of this coming in, and then I'll be shipping them all out. I'm currently waiting on Amazon to hurry their printing butt up, but I'm grateful for every single person who got a signed copy of Personal Branding. And still doing that as well. If you would like one, shoot me a message. I would love to put a signed copy in your hand. But overall, the response has been fantastic. And on top of being a value add, it is also a way to connect with new people and help others understand why they need to be building out their personal brands. 2017, the only thing that popped up on Google was an Ancestry.com thing, and it wasn't even me. It was somebody else who had the last name Mashman. In the past 4 years, I've been able to take my personal brand to being inexistent online practically to where it is today. I've been able to, meet significant other. I've been able to travel. I've been able to do business with millionaires. I've been able to meet millionaires, all through building my personal brand online and shaking hands in person, creating those lasting impressions of increase. And that is why I'm so bullish on it, and I want you to understand how powerful it is as well. So if you have not already, make sure to go to Amazon, type in Isaac Mashman, and this is going to pop up as the #1 search result. And I would love to know your opinions. I would love to know your thoughts. Now, in other news, Chase the Vision with Isaac Mashman. I have not done an episode for over a month. As soon as I get this echo out of my office, then I am going to be recording the podcast again, because I'm a quality snob and I want to make sure that the quality sounds decent for the show before. But have a new microphone coming in, have some sound panels, some carpet, because the floors in here are hardwood. So it'll be great. It'll be awesome, because I'm going to be ramping up and getting some more guests on. I'm not going to be doing as many guests. I'm going to be doing more monologues. And then I'm also going to be doing more videos. This is a much bigger office, a much more spacious office. And is something that I've wanted to do more of is ultimately just video content. And I'm not talking just training videos, but maybe a vlog. I'm looking into buying my first multi-acre property in the beginning of 2022. If I take a flight out to see the property, I want to take you guys with me on the trip. This has been a fantastic year. I have not accomplished all of my goals. I still have over 30 days to do that. And some of the goals are obnoxiously huge, and that means that they're going to end up getting bigger for next year. But I have a firm confidence about the way that the business is going, my personal brand is going, and where I'm going as a man, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. And I'm excited to continue bringing you on, but wanted to do this video to let you know about the release of Personal Branding and Manifesto on Fame and Influence, available on Amazon, signed copies available on my website, isaacmashman.com/book, isaacmashman.com/book. And then it is also now available for Kindle Unlimited, as well as a ebook purchase for a couple dollars less than the paperback copy. But I would honestly, guys, don't read it online, read it in person, have it in your hands so you can highlight it, so you can take notes, and so you can activate more neural pathways in your brain to help with retention and creativity. But with that being said, happy and grateful for each and every one of you. Make sure to continue chasing after your vision and stay tuned. Make sure we're connected across other platforms as well. You don't have to just be connected with me on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram. I'm on all of these places. And if you're on these places, make sure that we're connected as well, because I want to continue showing you that support and providing that value for each and every one of you. So until next time, much love, and remember to continue chasing after your vision.